Well, everyone, I went against my own words, my own wishes to not install this ever again. But I think it was worth it. Because guess what? Now the uplight works.
This is the Quoizel Abigail Adams lighted hugger in its new home. This is in my master bedroom. This is my parents' room. And this is going to be its new permanent install. And this fan is just so cool.
And we went all out for this. Watch this.
Yeah. Oh, also one thing I want to point out, it has this Casablanca W81 wall switch. So that was there before, or that was not there before. This was there before the W81. So I thought the W81 was so much cooler, so yeah.
And it dims.
Yep, it dims.
Till there's almost nothing left. So let me start it on low. Actually, no pull chain, the wall control.
Yeah, I'm just going to use the wall control.
So the speeds on this, it's a 4-speed control, and it's basically restaurant low, low, medium, high. So we're going to go
Restaurant low. So this is speed 1 on the wall control.
This is somehow, it got the perfect capacitor value for this because it's so close to stalling out, but it never does. And it just goes slow.
Back when Matt got this fan off of Marketplace, it had so many issues. It was so messed up. And a lot of people will remember how saggy the blades were on this thing. But I actually made a cheat sheet of like all the repairs I did with it. Because they're just too much to remember. So as we go through the speeds, I'll do my best to explain everything. So it has a new flywheel. The original flywheel was completely destroyed. And I actually want to show that new flywheel. Or the old flywheel, rather. So you'll notice that the rubber arms are bent because of the torque over the years.
It's hard to see on like camera, but they are slightly cracked, which is not a good sign.
Also, the center shaft is literally completely cracked. I'll brighten that a little bit.
I'm going to go to low speed on the control. Doesn't go a whole lot faster, but
really
we'll go a little faster.
So yeah, the center of the flywheel is cracked. Those arms are warped because of the torque, and also the threads that are in the flywheel where the blades mount, look at that, it's just completely ripped out. Just completely destroyed. So yeah, this is speed 2 on the wall control. So on top of the flywheel, it's got new bearings as well, because the original bearings were starting to grind ever so slightly. It's also got 3 wires that were repaired. So the reason the uplight did not work in the original video we made of this fan is because literally the hot wire for the uplight was broken. Like it somehow got cut, like up inside the motor housing. So I just cut where the brake was and then used a wire nut to add a pigtail, and that just fixed that. That was the same issue with the hot wire for the downlight. It was just like completely damaged, like barely holding on, like something cut through it. And then also the third wire that was repaired was this random blue wire that
we're going to go to speed 3.
Yeah, this is speed 3. It was some random wire that went into the switch housing that goes to a motor winding, but the shaft that runs through the motor is so thin you cannot run new wires through there or pull old wires out. I tried to, but it was just so tight in there, so I just had to like repair it. I just used like some plastic weld stuff and heat shrink. I'm going to put videos of all the damaged wires or pictures of all the damaged wires at the end of the video.
You had to get real creative.
Yeah. Well,
so yeah, this is a good medium speed.
Yeah. This is speed 3 on the wall switch.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a pretty significant jump in speed from this to high.
I ended up tightening the switch housing too, because it was super loose beforehand. And 2 of the uplight bulb sockets were kind of messed up. The contacts were not contacting the light bulb. It was a very loose contact, so I just kind of bent them upward to give it a better contact. And also I tightened up the sockets on the downlight as well.
I will say, the first time we put this up, we ran into a lot of problems and we didn't really know what to expect, so it took forever, like over 2 hours. Putting this up again, we did still have a problem actually having the wall control function properly, but it only took about 30 minutes. Like, it really wasn't as bad the second time around.
So also, I had to rewire the uplight on this fan too. So
I'm gonna go to high speed.
Alright.
Quick.
This is gonna be really powerful.
I'd say this is maybe the most powerful hugger fan ever. I can't think of hardly any others. Maybe the Thomas hugger could be more powerful than this. I'm not sure. There's very few huggers that have stack motors.
This uses a GE stack motor too. And that new flywheel is an F17 flywheel that came from Fan Man Lighting.
Yeah, it just whips. Even the blades are making some noise.
The uplight and downlight have their own pull chain switches, but I had to rewire the uplight because, for whatever reason, somebody in the past messed with the wiring and switch housing, and the uplight wire was just tied into the line wire on the 3-speed switch. So it was always on, so even if you pulled the chain to turn the uplight off, you couldn't turn it off. So I just rewired that, so now the uplight will work on its own pull chain. So I'm not really sure why someone did that, but yeah.
I don't know why someone made this fan in the first place. This seems like a blueprint gone wrong. Or gone right, depending how you see it. But okay, I'm going to shut it down now. Oh, let me show what this replaced. One of these Sears turn of the century things with variable speed with this gigantic chandelier type light kit.
So yeah, for like 3 years that fan has been installed in this room. And then we found this Quoizel and I knew this had to be hung somewhere. It's just too cool not to have somewhere.
Yeah.
If you remember before, in the original video, the blades would sag like crazy, and then when you got to high speed, they would bend upwards and like scrape against the bottom of the motor housing. That's how screwed up the flywheel was.
Way too overly flexible, but now it works just fine. It is very close to rubbing up against the motor housing because they gave you almost no space in between, but it clears it just barely.
Look how tight that flywheel barely fits through that opening. Also, when you install this thing, and you put these screws in to hold the motor housing, you really can't see a damn thing.
Yep.
You have to like try and look through this tiny little crack there to see where you're threading the screw into.
I also don't know if we ever showed this off. I'm not going to do it now, but if you unscrew this, then the light bulbs come out, so you don't have to disassemble the whole fan.
You don't have to unscrew it. It literally just plops down.
Oh, there you go.
Like you just pull that out and change the light bulb, and it's got like these weird. It's a weird light bulb. It just clicks into place. It's not like a screw-in type of light bulb. But yeah.
There you go.
Alright, that's all for this one.
Bye-bye.